Hello. I just realized that I didn't change my camera to 1080p, so we're streaming 4K, I think. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully it goes okay. There might be a little bit of a lag. I'm trying to look at my face to see if there's a bit of a lag. We're going to find out. Hello. Hello, hello. All right, people are starting to dive in. It's great to see you guys. I figured that it was a good idea if I go live one last time here in 2023. This will, I think, I don't know, not think, I know for a fact, um, this will be my last video of 2023. And so it occurred to me that it might be a good idea if we just spend a minute, spend some time chatting about 2024 and what you guys can expect from New Record Day as we move into the new year. So, uh, this is the last, since this is the last video of the year, I just wanted to first and foremost say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope everybody is going to have just a great holiday. We are going to be headed out to Arizona tomorrow. And so we'll be spending a week and a half, somewhere around there, in AZ. And then we'll be coming back to Texas around the time of the new year, and we'll get to work. 2023 was, kind of a challenging year. Well, I mean, for the channel, it was challenging because I didn't get as near the amount of content out to you guys as I wanted. I guess the silver lining is that, well, I was building the sound shed and it's done. And so with it being complete, now it's time to party. And I f- I don't think that I have ever felt so focused on my work as I do now. And so I feel laser lined, I feel free, and with this massive, massive project finally being complete, I'm able to really hone in on my craft of making, killer videos and having fun while I do it. And so, I guess a good place to start. Let me just pull up my screen here and make sure that, yeah, everything is looking good. Um, Merry Christmas. Back to you, Heavy Beats. Um, Electrostats and planars in 2024. Now that's an interesting idea, and that is a possibility. What I'm going to do before I start taking any questions from you guys, we can spend quite a bit of time on this live stream today. I have nothing else to do. But I want to kind of go through at least a rough outline of at least review pieces, actual review gear that I have in house, and also give an outline of things that you can look forward to in 2024. And so for those that aren't in this actual live chat, this isn't going to be as dynamic of just Q&A to where later you feel like you missed out. I'm going to try to walk you guys through all of these different products. So if you're catching this later and you weren't able to make the stream, no big deal. It's going to be the same information that I'm giving to these guys right now live. So let's dive in and see what 2024 is going to look like for you guys and for me. First and foremost, we're going to complete the Sound Shed series. Now, this is 5 videos. There's been one that has already been released. And basically, that very long video was essentially just front loading how I built the shed from start to finish. The next 4 videos that I have planned and kind of storyboarding and working through and scripting out and thinking through how I want to do it, in my opinion, are going to be a million times better than that first video. That first video I felt like was a bit long and a little bit boring. This is going to be a bit more interactive and fun. And I think I know exactly how I want to do this in a very creative way. And so these next 4 videos are basically going to be walking you guys through, literally like focusing on elements within the sound shed that make a difference with how things sound. And so we're talking about acoustic treatment, obviously. And, one video the first video that we're going to be looking at is going to be talking about measurements. And, the problem that I've had with a lot of measurement videos is it just feels like kind of hard to understand. And it's not like there's not really a whole lot of context as to the why behind the measurement or what it is that you're looking for and what the measurement actually means. And so it's my hope and it's my desire that I'm going to be able to communicate those things maybe in just a better way. And so the very first video is going to be talking about basically room measurements in an empty space. So the sound shed bare bones. And so as crazy as I am, I'm going to be pulling all of this stuff out of this space, probably by myself. Yay. And then I'm going to be taking measurements in here. And so we'll have kind of a starting point of this is what the empty room, this is how it sounds. And saying how it sounds, what I mean by that is I'm going to be doing sound clips in here as well. And so we're going to be able to connect the dots in a very interesting way of now let's move on to the next step, which is why don't we bring in some absorption? And so another video is going to be all dedicated to just that. And it's going to be focused and laser lined. And I'm going to be walking you through like all of these bass traps that I've built and some of the bass traps that were sent over by ATS Acoustics and the clouds that are up on the ceiling. We're going to go through this step by step and piece this thing together. And I think it's going to feel pretty interactive because there's going to be clips involved and you know a compare and contrast, an A and a B. Here's bear, here's bear with the clouds, here's bear with the bass traps. It's like I'm really going to try to build this up and lay down a foundation that is kind of fun to watch and entertaining and interesting. So that's the plan with that. And then we'll move on to diffusion and talk specifically about diffusion. I think that is, again, one of those topics that is very much misunderstood. And so I'm really excited to tackle that video. And then we'll finish it out with, basically just finalizing everything, a bare room versus all of the treatment. How does this room sound with everything in here versus where we started from? So that's going to be a big series. That's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of work to get those videos done. But there's 4 more of those videos that are in the works, and those will probably come out before anything else. I really got to focus on those and get those done. Um, Headphones. Thank you for those that watched the Empyrean review. Headphones in my channel, they just don't get along, and I'm shocked at how well that video is doing. Um, and look, I mean, everything that I said in that video is exactly how I feel. Those Empyreans are mind-numbing good. And so, with that, I do have a couple more headphones that we're going to be chatting about. These were sent over by Auroras Audio. We're going to compare and contrast these 2 different offerings. I think they're $800 or $900. I think $900. One closed back, one open back dynamic headphones. They sound excellent. If you want to just a hot take, I think they sound awesome. And I'm really happy with the performance of both of those. So we're going to be talking about those. And since I'm kind of wading into the water and getting more into headphones, which is interesting that I used to be way more into headphones and now I'm kind of circling back into it. I did request from Manly Labs or from Manly to send the Absolute headphone amplifier, which I have heard at the shows, and I loved that headphone amplifier, all tube headphone amplifier from Manly. And so they're going to be sending out that, and I'll be pairing that obviously up with every headphone that I have in house. And I also reached out to Woo Audio, and Woo Audio has been great. I've worked with them in the past, a long time ago on the channel when I did some headphone reviews. I did the headphone extravaganza where I reviewed like 20 headphones. It was massive. It was a lot of fun, but anyways, they're going to send out the WA22, which is a preamp and a headphone amp. Let me just bounce back into the comments here and make sure that everything looks good. Yep, it does. Okay, we're good. And no lag, no issues. Okay, I think we're fine. All right, so we have headphones and we have headphone amplifiers. So that's going to be cool. Uh, Meze is interested in my take specifically with the Empyreans of swapping the cables out because they always send me the silver cables. And I got to be honest, I'm not opposed to silver stuff. And I am one of those cracker jacks that thinks that cables can make a difference. But I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, why don't you guys ever send out the copper cables? Like, that's weird. You know, you guys always send the silver cables." And I asked, "Well, what is your take on it? What are the differences?" And I kind of expected them to say this, and so I think we're already in agreement that they feel that with their silver cables, it's more about detail, right? It's more about fine line details, whereas the copper cable is going to be a bit smoother, a bit more relaxed, a bit more analog is the word that they used, and so that's right up my alley. And so they're gonna send me out, the copper cables, then I'll be able to do a compare and contrast with the silver cables and the copper cables, which I think is gonna be kind of an interesting video. I haven't seen anybody do anything quite like that. Um, at least I haven't looked high and low, but I haven't noticed that. And so that might be kind of a cool, video to do. If you don't care about headphones, 2024 will not be just about headphones. There are a ton more products that we're gonna be discussing. I do have everybody knows Jay Ziyagi, Jay Lee, and he released that CSS audio collaboration tower. It's called the Typhon. And he did send me those speakers to review. And I have spent some time with them and I'm getting acquainted. I'm getting used to them all over again. And I will be knocking out that review. So if you're interested in my take on the Typhons, I have those. I also need to finish up my review and my thoughts on the Galleon TS120 amplifier. That is again Thomas and Stereo. If you're not familiar with him, and by the way, subscribe to these guys' channels. You know, at the very least, just say hello to them. Both of those guys are really cool guys, and I've known them for a long time. I feel like we're all friends. Like I've known these guys for a very long time, and with Thomas, he released this amplifier. It's a Galleon amplifier, TS120 SE, and I need to get that review out. I feel like I could do that review tomorrow, but I like making Thomas wait. It's just kind of fun. I'm a jerk. It's what friends do, right? So I got to get that done. And then in the same vein, I need to finish up my thoughts on the LTA Z40 integrated amplifier, which I gotta say, you know, I'm not suggesting because I think it would be crackerjack crazy for anybody to buy the LTA Z40 integrated amp as a headphone amplifier. I don't think you should just rush out and do that. But that amp by far sounded the best with the Empyreans. There's something magical about that headphone circuit and that microzodal technology. It works, especially with the Empyreans. I thought that pairing sounded beautiful and sounded just it was just gorgeous. I could really I got all the detail that I wanted out of the Empyreans, but at the same time, I didn't feel like it was just too much, you know. And so I was able to relax when I wanted to relax. When I want things to be exciting, they certainly were. And I felt like the LTA kind of gave me the best of both worlds. So in that review, I'll actually be talking about the built-in headphone circuit in that amp more than I expected to be talking about it because I think it's fantastic. And I know for a fact that Nicholas is literally going to strangle me if I don't put it through its paces with vinyl. They installed the phono section in that amp, and he's like, Ron, we sent you an integrated amplifier with a phono section. Will you please, for the love of all things holy, please talk about records? New record day. Will you please do that? And so I will be doing that as well. So that review will be out. And after that, we have this speaker that nobody has ever heard of before. It's not a really big deal. It's called the Caledon. Some jackwagon out there hyped the heck out of that speaker, and so yeah. Kaladin review, that is coming. The second in fact, I think the last I heard, or I saw it on the forums on Clayton Shaw's website, he said that production is finally started, and so I think that that's taken some time to kinda get the ball rolling. Um, and I don't know exactly when I will receive my pair to review, February, March. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Hopefully sooner than that. But Kaladin review will come and I'm gonna put that thing through the ringer. So we're gonna have some fun with that. And back to back with that, Spatial has sent the latest revision of their crossover. And I mentioned this in the last live stream that it's I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a collaboration. It's not a collaboration, but what it is when Sam and some of the other guys from Spatial Audio came down and they spent like a couple of days here. We listened to their Ultra crossover, and you can get that crossover now, and it does do some amazing things. And it's there's some things about it that I know that a lot of people will like. However, as they spent time here, there were a couple of small little voicing changes that I started to at least suggest, like, hey, what if it did this? Or what if you got this out of the speaker? That would be interesting. And I can tell you that Sam is a brilliant designer, and he took that to heart and he started working on this 2024 revision, and I now have that crossover installed, and I can tell you that l like magic, everything that I said I wanted out of this speaker, it's pretty much here. There's a couple of things in here that I still need to investigate, like, it might be a little bit better if, but overall, I'm really happy with, the latest revision of the X4. So that review is in the pipeline as well. Almost done here, and then we can take some questions. After that, we do have, and I don't know if will all be in this exact order. By the way, I should mention that. Um, Either way, Triangle sent their 40th anniversary. There's a tower and a bookshelf. I can't remember the names. They always use these fancy pants names, French. But I have their 40th anniversary bookshelf speakers and their towers. I've already listened to their bookies. They're beautiful. The cabinet work, everything is gorgeous. It's like jewelry. They sound pretty good. There were a couple of things right away that I've noticed in previous Triangle speakers that might not be for me, right? And so it's like, okay, I know what you're after, and I know what you're doing. Might not be my kind of a thing, but that doesn't excuse me from moving on with a review. You know, it's not about me. It is about me telling a story, but I have to be able to remember, like, who would like this and why would they like it? And so I'm going to try my best to, work through, work through those videos and get those out. I haven't heard the towers, so the towers could be a completely different story, but essentially they have this, like, they always use this like horn loaded type soft dome tweeter type thing. They're big into that. And I've heard this. I've at least heard this configuration or the way that they're doing this in their other speakers, and I feel like it just draws too much dang attention to the tweeter. It drives me crazy, and you guys know this about me, that if I'm trying to listen to a performance in the room and there's a tweeter playing from a speaker, man, it makes me nuts. So I still have a lot of work to do with that. So take these comments with a grain for now, because I haven't done my due diligence of really putting them through their paces yet, trying a lot of different, techniques with gear in front of them, moving them around, speaker placement, the whole 9 yards, but we'll get to those. Triangle at the exact same time, or at least the distributor for Triangle, also sent out the Electrocompagnie ECI 80D, and that integrated amplifier is incredible. I I can't even wrap my head around how good it is, to be honest with you. Like, when I see this amplifier and when I look at this amplifier, it doesn't look like much. I mean, yeah, it does have a nice kind of a glass front, but if you turn it around and you look at it, like we're talking about like the speaker terminals and the RCA inputs, it just looks like, kind of your typical, nothing like mid-fi stuff. And I'm not saying that like with my nose above that. There's many of those pieces that I like, but I, I just don't. The way that it looks doesn't match up with how it sounds. And so now we enter the territory of which is overused of like, do we have a giant slayer here? Do we have something that, doesn't really look like much? And it's certainly not cheap, but it's not insanely expensive. I want to say it's 3,500 bucks. I think I mentioned this in the last yeah, it's $3,500 for an integrated amp. And I'm telling you right now that I think it might be my favorite integrated amplifier that I've spent time with that I know of at least within the past few years. So this is a big deal. Like this could be one of those like really honest to goodness one and done type situations where you just get that and you're just happy. And you've got a music machine on your hands and it's just beautiful sounding. And I really like it a lot. So I can't wait to talk to you guys more about that piece. This next one is embarrassing to even bring up, but I still have the SVS Ultra Towers. And I think SVS, they probably think that I passed away, like, or they completely forgot. I mean, it's crazy, and it is actually unprofessional and a bit ridiculous that I still have these here, and I haven't even unboxed them. So, maybe I need to move that one higher up the food chain and knock that one out earlier for SVS. But I do have the Ultra Towers. I'm gonna get to that video. I'm gonna do that review justice, and we'll get that out to you guys as well. Another exciting piece that I have in is the Holo Audio Cyan 2. And this is a very bare bones DAC. It's like, Holo Audio essentially just went in with a scalpel and they just took the heartbeat out of the Holo Audio, the big boy, the Holo Audio May DAC or the Spring DAC. And they're just giving you just no remote, no nothing, just like, here's a DAC, but it has the heartbeat of the good stuff. This thing does, you know, NOS, no oversampling, and it is R2R. It's got the DNA of the goods. And so here you go. And I'm going to tell you up front that right out of the gate, it it's a bit scary. Like, wait a minute. That I'm having a hard time telling much of a difference, like at all, between my May DAC. And so here we have this new DAC on our hands that is very reasonable, like 1,200 bucks, that is just bare bones, no fluff, no options, no pressing buttons, no remotes or anything like that, but just a simple DAC that just does that one thing. But for a lot of you guys, and I find myself in this camp more and more as I get older, is I don't care about all of the options. Just give me something that sounds good. Like I don't need it to do backflips. I don't care about any of that stuff. This might be the one to get because this is one of those things where I'm not hearing much of a massive difference between the two. I think it's going to come down to perhaps just some side steps between the two. So I am really eager and excited to talk to you guys about the Cyan 2 and to spend more time with it and then really finalize my thoughts. Okay, am I full of it? Or is there really not that big of a difference? And if there is, where are those differences? Because now I got to find it. It's like there's got to be a difference. So where is it? Where are they going to hear it? And then I got to be able to communicate that to you guys. So that's going to be exciting. Last here on the list, this is a company that has kind of just made the rounds already, and for some reason, I missed out on it. But Arendelle is, I don't know if I would put them in the same like territory or the turf of like SVS, like home theater centric type stuff, or more two channel, maybe a little bit more two channel, but Arendelle sent me out a request to do a review of their towers. And I forget the model or whatever. I think it's the same one that everybody has reviewed. But I'm going to be spending time with Arendelle and checking out their speakers. They're in the garage right now, so I got to unpack those, put them through their paces, and then I will let you guys know what the Arendells sound like, and that'll be kind of fun to check those out. So that's all the gear that we have. I think there. I lied. There's more. I'm looking around my room right now, and I'm like, we have the brutes and we have the bullies staring at me, looking at me like, "What'd you say? You forgot to mention the brutes and the bullies." We have the GR Research brutes and the bullies here, and so I am going to be doing a review of both of those, and I'm going to get creative in how I talk about both of those speakers because I've obviously been painted, and maybe even fairly so, as a bit of a shill or a fanboy for GR Research. Obviously, I've known Danny for a very long time. Um, Transparency here, I don't make any money on any of his products, kits, nothing like that. There's never been any kind of financial interest between Danny and I with any of that stuff. So that's nonsense. We are friends, and so therefore I need to be careful in here about how much I filter in, Danny's products. And yeah, I got to figure out a creative way to do like a compare and contrast between the brutes and the bullies. And I think I know exactly how to do it. That I'm going to spin it as more of an educational video because Danny's made this claim about the bullies, the big boys, that hey everybody, these will work in every room. They'll do everything. They'll do everything. It's like, oh yeah, well, let's find out, Danny. Let's see if you're full of it. Like, will they actually work in every single kind of a room? And so what I think I'm going to do is put the bullies in rooms where they shouldn't work. And because they do have a plate amp with a lot of adjustability that I'm very familiar with, it's the same plate amp that I use with my Audicas when I had them before I moved to Texas. I gave them to my brothers. I'm not going to get into that. I gave them to my brother, but I'm very familiar with the amp. I know exactly how to use it. And I the cat's out of the bag. I will tell you they can do everything, and I'm gonna show you how they can do everything. And so these are retro throwback speakers without really a whole lot of compromises, especially when it comes to placement, rooms, where they can go, where they can't go, because you have a lot of these retro type designs, and the brute would be included in this. The little brother of the bully, the brute, is there are some rooms where they just won't work. It's going to be too much bass. It's going to overpower the room, and it's not going to sound amazing. With the bullies, that's not true. You have infinite abilities within that plate amp to manage bass, and so I'm gonna do just like a cool compare and contrast between those 2 speakers, put them in different rooms where they shouldn't do well, sound clips included, walk you guys through the 2 different speakers. So, in the event where somebody is interested in going down the road of the brute or the bully, I think that video will probably be very valuable as to which one they should get and why. So, that covers, I think there's probably more. Yamaha AS801 is over here. I have to review that. It's great. It's great. Have to review that. But I think that's it. Anyways, aside from that, and I'm gonna start taking questions, and we'll open this up to the floor. Here is other things that you can expect in terms of overall, right? Better production. I feel like I've been a bit lazy with my production, and I almost through 2023 got into the rut of doing the things that I personally just don't love in videos, which is me just standing here talking to you. That's not all that entertaining or interesting or fun for me to watch. And so I would rather put my heart into this and try to make it as engaging and interesting as I possibly can. And I think that the shit audio tier, and to a certain extent, even the Empyrean, had some elements of what I'm gonna start working on more and working harder to produce. But um, a lot of this is a bit of an like art for me, and I like being creative, and that part is enjoyable. It's satisfying to do great shots and make it look beautiful. And so I think that we're gonna see better production in 2024. That's gonna be something I'm gonna be working on. I've also, thought about, and I've done this in the past. Randy and I had a Randy Cheap Audio Man, if you're not familiar. We had a podcast going for a while, and I really like podcasts a lot. And I think that I'm actually going to start up an official NRD podcast. And this will be me reaching out to manufacturers, to other YouTube, reviewers, you name it, other YouTube guys that are just in the hi-fi space, and try to get a little bit more diverse in terms of the content that I'm throwing out at you guys. So look forward to that. So I'm gonna be ramping up with more content. Now the shed is done, no excuses. It's like, okay, it's time to work. I've got a lot of work here that I want to get done, and I've got a lot of big ideas. An exciting new idea that I have that I am really eager about, and I do have to, shed the skin of a lot of this list that we just ran through before I can focus on this, but I'm going to spin out a new segment on the channel that is basically harkening back to a video that I did a long time ago, that was cheap and cheerful, right? And I don't know if you guys ever saw that video. For the 4 or 5 of you guys are like, "Yeah, cheap and cheerful hi-fi, I remember that video." Um, I'm gonna spin out episodes that are all basically a nod to really affordable gear. And so I don't know what the cap is gonna be on the gear, maybe $1,000 and less, somewhere in there. Maybe 500 and less, that's probably a bit more difficult to do. But I thought for anybody that is getting into this and just kinda starting out, they might want my take on really affordable hi-fi gear. There will be a segment on the channel called Cheap and Cheerful, and I'll come up with, a branding for those types of videos, where I'm gonna only be talking about, starter systems, and somebody that is on a budget and they wanna get into this, and good for them. I want them to as well. And we all gotta start somewhere, right? And so that is gonna be a lot of fun to focus on and to do that. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention, and I was almost afraid to mention this because I feel like every time that I've tried to focus back on this, it's kind of fallen apart. But I, I got to be honest, I got my mojo back. And so I'm feeling pretty dang confident that all of these things are realistic and doable. And the last thing is Frequency Friday. And this is basically something that I did consistently for a while, where every single Friday, come hell or high water, a video drops, and usually it's going to be topical. And so I'm pulling away from like a review, and I'm trying to, talk about a specific topic within the hi-fi space that I find interesting. It might be a learning opportunity. It might be sharing something that I have found over the years of reviewing stuff or speaker placement, whether it's related to soundstage, what have you. I'm going to work diligently, even if they're shorter videos, to bring Frequency Friday back, because that was something that I think a lot of guys really appreciated. And even if it's live episodes of Frequency Friday, I think that's perfectly fine. That might be a good, smart, wise way of doing it, is maybe just make Frequency Friday live. Um, that is also in the pipeline. So let me pull my notes down and take a look at all of the comments here, and we'll just kind of backtrack and see what we got. But that's what we got rocking and rolling. So 2024 is gonna be bad to the bone. And I am so excited, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys that take the time to watch my videos and encourage me and stick around. So it's gonna be it's gonna be great. All right, so we can open up. I've got a lot of comments here I'm going to read through real quick. So it might get awkward quiet here, but let me just catch up. I don't like ignoring folks. And so let me just see what we got here. Can you do a video on how you make the bass traps in the corner? Yes. In fact, so this is Men the Cool Dude. Thank you so much for asking this question. Can you do a video about how I made, whoa, that's awkward. how I made these. Yes, I can. That is going to be part of the Sound Shed series, but I have to tell you, and I have to be honest, I can't go into specifics of the design. And here's why. I didn't come up with this. This is not my design. This is actually, there's a gentleman by the name of Yesko, and he does have a YouTube channel. It's Acoustic Insider. I highly recommend that you subscribe. He is brilliant. Uh, very much I'm very much aligned with that guy in terms of the way he talks about treatment and his thought process behind, absorption, bass trapping, things like that. And he has a course that you actually pay for, right? So I paid for a course to learn how to make this trap, and it would be a real D move, if you know what I'm saying, for me to be like, and this is how you do it for free. Like, I'm not going to do that to him. So I'll at least give you the tools that you need to wrap your head around what that is and how that operates and how that works. But I'm not going to go into great details about it. So I'm just being honest with you up front. So that's a great question, and thank you for asking. Hi, Ron. Great to see you online. It is great to see you, my friend. Ron, I'm in the Caribbean. Let's just see here. House, all concrete, open gable roof, sloping from 10 feet to 15 feet. 24. Wow. Okay. This is from AXA Film. He's just mentioning basically his room. I don't know if you have a question in there, but um, main room is 24 feet by 16 feet with open adjoining roof, similar slopes, 10 to 15 feet roof heights. That's a big room. So the sound shed is internal dimensions. I have 18 feet wide to work with, just under 18 feet, depth 28 feet, and the ceiling is just about 11 feet. So, yeah, having that kind of real estate is lovely. It's amazing. It's such a blessing. Let's just see here. Benoit is asking, I hope you'll be able to discuss and perhaps challenge Clayton Shaw about his Caledon loudspeakers. Yeah, absolutely. That's, as I just mentioned, that's in the pipeline. I'm going to put those things through the ringer, and I'm going to give you guys everything you would need to know about the Caledons. I cannot wait to hear them again. I miss them. That'll be a lot of fun. TM says the sound shed is a big enough space where I'd like to see some Clips Jubilee go through there if at all possible. Nice space. Thanks for sharing it with us. That'd be a lot of fun. I think those are their massive, massive speakers that they have. I'd be down for that. No problem. If Clips wanted to send me the Jubilees, I would plop them down and I would listen to them. Martin, good friend Martin, longtime listener, great guy. What a dilemma. You and Randy are both live right now. Randy's live right now? It's a conspiracy. I think there's a way to invite other guys to join you to go live. I noticed that, but I don't know how to. I'm going to break this. I shouldn't be messing with this. Whoa, discard changes. Cancel. Okay. All right. I didn't blow this up. I can't believe he's live. That son of a gun. That is a dilemma. um Victor Enos, no dilemma. Ron is the man. That's right. That's right, Victor. Cheap audio, man. What are you talking about? Cheap audio. We got the new Weem. Got the new Weem. Is that what Randy sounds like these days? We got the new Weem, guys. Let's talk about sounds. Let's talk about bass. I miss the days when Randy would do the most insane things on video. I feel like he's great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he's lost some of his edge of, like, pushing a speaker off of a table. I will never forget, he was doing a Saturday speaker shoot, and he pushes a speaker off of a table, and it falls on the ground, and he's just deadpan the whole time, and he's like, "Let's talk about bass." It was just one of the greatest moments I've ever seen. It broke my brain. Right then and there, I was like, "I love this man." I He's just the best. He's so great. Oh my goodness. No dealers, selecting speakers and amplifier for my environment, sub whole system, US $5,000. That's fantastic, man. That's a heck of a deal. If you can put together a system that you are totally, completely thrilled with at 5 grand and it's just a cat's pajamas, dude, that is killer. How much beard hair did you need for us for the for the acoustic treatment? A lot, and I still don't have enough, so I'm still collecting. I'm shaving it, and then I'm adding it to the walls. So it's working great. Thanks for the voice of reason today, Ron. It means a lot. Hey, Dave. Guys, if you're not familiar with Dave, Dave's Real Hi-Fi channel. I think he's been at it for a while. I don't know exactly how long you've been doing it, Dave. But Dave, he doesn't consider himself a reviewer. He's not like reviewing equipment. But there's a lot of things that Dave has said in a few of his videos that does resonate with me. And one of them is not getting in the trap of just cycling, turning, and burning through products. It's just like, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one. This is the best, and this is the best. And, it's like I have where is it? Where is this thing? Ever Solo, they sent me out that streamer that everybody freaked out about. It's just like, this is the greatest streamer in the whole world. And whenever that happens, whenever I sense that there's a tremendous amount of overwhelming hype on a product, I wait. I don't join it. I'm like, uh-uh, no, no. If I did drop the video and I did link it to Amazon or whatever, line my pockets with more money, that's great and all, but I'd rather just wait it out, see what happens, really get used to the product, figure out what the heck is going on, and see whether or not it's actually a big deal. I will say this, it's a nice sounding streamer, but the functionality on it, I don't know how else to say it. It sucks. I've had so many issues with that dumb thing, whether it's connecting to my phone, the app not connecting, it's not working. I'm having to do a factory reset. And I'm sitting there going like, did anybody am I just having bad luck? But it's not great. And so I've been happy to set that thing off to the side. And then when I do get back to it, I got to kind of go through that all over again and figure out, well, what's going on here? Because I'm the kind of guy where it's like, if I'm doing a review and something sounds great, but it doesn't function well, well, then I don't really care. It's like I'm not going to sit here and talk about it like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread if it's unusable or it's hard to use or it's riddled with a lot of problems. And I'm not saying that in this case that's what's going on, but I suspect that that might be what's going on. And so I got to put that thing through its paces and see what the heck is going on. But, anyways, um, Dave talks about this quite a bit that you're always better off just going for the used market and find stuff that is tried and true that, isn't part of this, nasty cycle of turn and burn and turn and burn. And man, we are very much aligned in that thought process. And it is how I review things is I don't want to be on the merry-go-round of, and here's the next best thing. I'm just not interested in that. All right. Let me just see here. Martin says, I did like your Empyrean video, just don't make the production an end itself. Yeah, Martin, I completely agree. And this is something that I struggled with in the early days of New Record Day once I started getting really creative and I started scripting everything out and storyboarding. And it's like, man, if I get in that trap, I'll never get anything done. And so there has to be there I think there's a way to do both. And I think that I'm finally at a point where I understand how to do both and to do it well, and keep the production level up and obviously have fun and be true to myself. All right, here we go. Verse says, Dave from St. Paul, Minnesota. Ron, I heard you mention acoustic invader in your last stream. I think you mean acoustic insider. I would too very much like to discuss their acoustic invader. Yeah, this was a preamp that somebody mentioned. Got it. I took note of that preamp. I will reach out to them and see if we can make that review happen. Yep, absolutely. Let me just take a look here. Martin says, I saw Cheap and Cheerful. Now Randy needs a 5K segment. It would be cool if Randy would be open to it to explore that space and you know, like let's see him try the stuff up to 5K. It would be cool. I don't know if he's at all interested in that, and I don't know what his fan base would think if he went in that kind of a direction. There's always consequences to kind of branding yourself as one thing and then trying to push out of that. That can be a bit of a challenge. But I would love it. I would watch every single one of those videos and see what he thinks about some of the higher price stuff and see what's up to snuff, see what he likes. So thanks for the content. I am planning my sound shed garage theater right now. I know it's not cheap. Josh, good luck to you, man. Email me, call me, whatever you want to do. If you ever need any help or you want my advice based on what I did, happy to help you out. That's really exciting. I'm hoping for you. I think that's great. Having a dedicated room is truly amazing. It's incredible. Victor Enos says, have the KLH Model 5 and love them, but also needed speakers that are better at low level listening for my studio, which has room treatments. Any recommendations? Thank you, my friend. My room is 25 by 18. Boy, that is a good size room. That's about the same size as what I have here. That's kind of interesting that you would say that. And it kind of surprises me because, the Model 5s, I feel like you know what it is? It might be a sensitivity thing. I wonder if that's what you're running into. What I was about to say is they're a bit lively, and so anytime you have a bit more spark and then a bit more bass, a bit more heft and weight, then typically things spring to life. I'm kind of drawing a blank here as to where to move you there, Victor, but I have a feeling that maybe what is difficult in that situation would be a sensitivity type thing, that you need something more sensitive that kind of wakes up and springs to action right out of the gate. And I'm sorry, I don't have an exact recommendation for you right now. But I'll think that through. And if you want to just email me, Victor, it's Ron at New Record Day. Then we can stay in contact. And if I'm laying in bed tonight, I'm like, this is it. I'll let you know what I come up with. When will you review the Cyan 2? Good question. With the current workload that I have, my goal is to get one solid review out a week. And so I think that list is 17 deep. It's 17 weeks worth of reviews right there. So I don't know exactly where in the order it's going to be. And I do have some stuff that has been here long before the Cyan 2. So I have to be fair and reasonable and get some stuff out of here and done before I work on it. But, within the next 17 weeks, there will be a Cyan 2 review. I can promise you that. Caladan versus Bully for late night listening. I would say that the Bully is going to probably win in that scenario, which might surprise a lot of folks that I'm saying that. But I think that's probably true because you have so much versatility and adjustability on that plate amp. And this is a similar trait that I saw in the Spatial Audio X5s that also had a powered amp, is that in late night situations, you can do what you want with the bass. And so that's what happens in low level, right? And that's the reason that we would see that loudness button is the bass is elevated and the top end is elevated. That's what happens when you click that loudness button. And anytime you do have a powered, section in a speaker for bass and you can adjust that to your liking, that opens the doors to some interesting things. And I think in that particular fight, I think the Bully might beat the Caladan just specifically, for late night listening. Got a sticker in from Dave, Dave's Real Hi-Fi channel. Make sure you subscribe to Dave's channel. Dave, thank you so much, man. You're a sweetheart. I really do appreciate that. That is absolutely considerate. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, man. Getting epic Catholic vibes, broski. Okay. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what you mean by I don't know what you mean by that. Okay. Any plans to review some active pro audio gear in the future? ATC, Neumann, Genelec, PSI Audio, Barefoot. That's a good question, man. I don't know. I I I have I have issues with powered speakers, and it's so dumb. I you know what it is? It's not dumb. It's easily explained that I'm crazy. That's the explanation is I'm crazy and I'm pulling speakers 276 feet into the room, and then I have another power cord or an interconnect that I have to plug into a speaker that's 276 feet away from anything. And it's just so annoying. And whatever cables they sent, it's not long enough. And then I'm just like, well, now I'm shopping for longer cables, and it's just kind of a pain. The problem is me. And if I could get myself to a point where I stop thinking about it like that, and maybe I move more into like a desktop type scenario, which is honestly how a lot of those speakers are supposed to be used, then I would say it's possible. But right now, I don't have a whole lot of desire to move into that space, but it certainly might change. Hoobs Groove says, I got a question. How do you make money from this, or do you? Yeah, I do make money from my videos. It's through monetization. And so at a certain point, and I don't know what the parameters now, you're able to enable or monetize your videos. And so the way this works is there are advertisement agencies that spend or have a bucket of money that they're going to throw at YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, we want the ads on these particular, genres or, you know, w- categories." Thank you, categories, and that money is distributed, and then it's filtered into ads, and so when I drop a video based on the amount of views, right? So the more views that are on that video are the more possibilities of that ad being seen by those people that are watching my videos. And then that all adds up to, you know, a monthly payout from Google. And with a family of 5, we get by. I mean, we're if it can get a little bit dodgy during the summertime, to be frank with you. I don't ma we live humbly, and we live below our means, and we try to be wise with our money, and, that I'm certainly not complaining. We don't make a whole lot of money doing this, but it's okay because I that really is irrelevant to me, and it always has been. I do this because I freaking love it. I'm passionate about it, and, I did this for a very long time without making hardly anything. It was like $100 a month, or $200 a month. For a for years, that's what the income looked like, and I was still as happy as I am today, and I try not to let the money thing, influence me or make it about chasing that. Cause if that was the case, then every review piece would be from China and you can buy it on Amazon. And I would just turn and burn those products and I would make a lot more money, but I'm just not interested in that. Not at all. All right. Acoustic Insider, I just looked it up. Thanks, Ron. You're welcome. Not a problem. Yeah, he is great. Yesko is incredible. If you guys are not subscribed to Acoustic Insider or Dave's Hi-Fi channel, go subscribe. Subscribe. Pay attention to their videos. See what they have to say. Hang out with them for a little while. If you connect and you like it, great. Fantastic. Show support. Show, that, hey, I'm here for you, man. Like, great video. That's awesome. That goes a long way. It really does. Um, so definitely do that. Hi, Ron. With a digital front end, does music format matter? I prefer AIFF Wave as it just removes another link in the chain and plays like physical media, or is ALAC FLAC good enough? Man, this is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. I wish. So these are the questions that I try to answer, and I try to give it back to you in in a video. It's like, you know, for a very long time, I had a mantra on my channel and it hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. And it probably won't change because I feel as if this is more of a root now of New Record Day. This is something that has been solidified. And this is something that maybe I do need to make a video about. And that is, if you have something that was mixed and mastered for CD, put down on just a good old compact disc, Red Book, and you play that back and you listen to it on a system, it has been my experience that that CD in that purest form reigns supreme every single time, all day long, to anything else that has taken that and then given it to you through some kind of a streaming service, whether it's Qobuz, whether it's Tidal, it doesn't matter. Amazon Music. Always to my ears, always the CD or the Red Book sounds better. This is a root, right? So I don't think that I'm going to easily change my opinion about that. And it's been something that I have said for so long that I think a lot of like-minded individuals have kind of experienced the same thing as like, well, gosh, man, now I'm glad you said that because I thought I was going crazy. Here's everybody streaming on Qobuz and and Tidal, and well, I mean, they're upsampling it, and so it's higher bit rate. I don't care. It means nothing to me. The Red Book just sounds better, and I feel better as I'm listening to it. It just sounds better. So, it doesn't matter. Yes. And that route I will share with you, but that's about the extent that I can do in a live stream. I need to make a video talking about this, and it would be interesting and fascinating with what I can do with sound clips if you guys can hear it. Like, I don't know if it would be lost in translation if it's that small of a subtlety, and it might be. But for me, Red Book always wins in those fights. Always. It's never debatable for me. All right. Let's just see here. We have Jeff in here. He says, wishing each and every one of you a holiday season, safe and prosperous new year. Got to head out to school event. I'll have to watch the rest when it was recorded. And I feel the same way. Absolutely. You bet. I'm going to set my phone down. It's starting to distract me a little bit. True voice of reason. Old school. Just popping in to wish everyone wishing a good July. I don't know what good God, Joel. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Staying cozy with family and friends, and may the season be good to all. Absolutely. You bet. Completely agree. Ace of Spades, another old timer. Howdy. Howdy right back at you, Ace. Got to head back to work. Meeting shortly. Can't wait to see what's in store for the channel in 2024. I hope you are ready to rock and roll in your new room shed. I am. You better believe it, man. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to crank out. I think it's going to be the best year of New Record Day so far. I think this is going to be the culmination of everything. I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of mistakes over and over again to the point where I'm like, not going to do that again. And I think I'm able to fine tune, focus, and just get out some great videos. And that's what my focus is. So yeah. Ben is asking, would a Hegel amp help Victor's Model 5? Now that's a good question. It depends on the Hegel amp. I think that 390 was a knockout. Whereas the one, did I review the 120 or the 190? I forget, but whatever that other Hegel amp that I reviewed, it just sounded weak, man. I was like, there is no nutsack here. I'm sorry, Hegel. It's just it's the funny thing about it is, a lot of the guys that have been in the shed so far that even know the brand and they saw that review, I think they were looking at me like, you were too hard on them. And then we play it and I'm like, see? And they're like, oh, you're right. It's missing something and it drives me crazy. I wish it was just more in the 390, you've got that. So that's a good question, Ben. That might be a great pairing for the Model 5. That would I would imagine brings some cojones for sure. What is your reference system? Do you have one? Ever get a chance to listen to it? Um, yeah, that is a good question. So, at the heart of my system, there are two pieces that I would say at this point are solidified. They are reference items. The first on the front end is the Inuos Zenith, which I've had for a long time, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And then that is feeding in terms of my DAC. It's the Holo Audio Maydac, and so the level 3 Maydac. Those two are reference items. Those are mine. I own them. I paid for those, both of those units, and those are not going away. So those are reference items. In terms of speakers, the Sapphires were my reference speaker of choice for as long as I've had them. They're not in production anymore. This is one of the reasons why Caladan is such a big deal, and it's so exciting to me is that it is, as far as I could tell, a superior speaker to the Sapphires, which is crazy. Um, and so that will absolutely be my reference speaker. That will be the speaker that I just use as the benchmark of this is how high we need to go, and something that I'm used to and something that I know and something that I love. And then in terms of like bookshelf speakers or dynamic speakers, um, the GR Research XLS Encores that I finally built out, which I've mentioned a few times on my channel. Look, here's the deal. There's just not an excuse not to use those as a reference now. There was an excuse for a long time, which was they were only a do-it-yourself offering. That's not true anymore. They are now a turnkey solution, and they do everything that I want out of a bookshelf speaker. Literally everything that I could ask for in a bookshelf speaker, the XLS Encores do. And so those are my reference. Hi. Hey, baby girl. Um, and so I cannot believe my daughter just walked in here. What are you looking for, G? Oh, she found her Halloween candy stash. You can take that. Hey, do you want to say hi to everybody? Yeah. Okay, I'm doing a live stream. You can come and say hi. These are the people. Hi. Talking to the microphone. No. Can you guys believe how big she is? Oh my goodness. How old are you again? 8. 8? Yeah. All right. Go. All right. We'll see you later, dude. Have fun. All right. That's my daughter, Georgia. She's the best. Forget what I was saying. Oh yeah. XLS Encores, you could consider those a reference in terms of another product that I just go to and I know the sound and they're a good place to start. So yeah, that's that. Let me just take a look here. I'm going to scroll back up and see if I missed anything. Beanbag chairs are now memory foam chunk filled in the bags. Nice microphone. Beanbag chairs are now memory foam chunk filled, and the bags are nice microfiber, easy stackable, multi-use base traps. Yeah, maybe. Um, the material that you're using to trap base matters. The density of it. This is something that, this is from Triumph Hi-Fi, by the way. You are a great candidate to check out Acoustic Insider because Yesko walks through a lot of this kind of stuff, and I don't know anything about how effective something like that will be at trapping lower bass. I would imagine that you will be absolutely absorbing something, but at what frequency to what degree is where it's debatable. Whereas, a design similar to what he recommends, these are 9 inches deep, chock full of rock wool. And they're put in the corners, and we'll be talking about that. And these will actually effectively trap is a weird word to say when we're talking about bass, but absorb bass all the way down to 40 hertz. And we'll prove that when we get to the sound shed videos. We'll show like he's not lying. This is what they actually do. And they do. The bass in the sound shed is very much under control. It's beautiful sounding. Benoit, thanks, Ron. I can't wait to watch your review of the Kaladin and the interview of Clayton Shaw. Some points are mysterious for me. Baffle, step, good bass reproduction, only two 12-inch drivers. I know, man. It is a bit mysterious, and I think he just nailed it with those. And so I cannot wait. I cannot wait to put those things through their paces and walk you guys through everything A to Z. Um, Same for the Soul Tweeter to reproduce a huge part of the frequencies. Yeah, I hear you, man. That was the same, thing with the Sapphires is they're, crossed over, very low. And stay tuned. We'll chat about it. Absolutely. Clayton is supposed to be at Southwest Audio Fest in Dallas, March 15th through 17th. Bet Ron and Danny will be there too. Joe, I don't think he's gonna make it. I just recently heard that the old man is tying the knot. I think he's getting married, or no, excuse me, he's already married. Pardon me, and I think he's in the middle of the process of a move. So, um, he's moving wherever his wife is. I think she's in Seattle or wherever she is, and so, uh, yeah, forgive that. Already married, recently got married, and now the move is happening, and so I don't think he's gonna make the show. I will be there for sure. Absolutely, I will be there. So, and I'll see if I can bring Danny. That would be a lot of fun. So it'd be great to meet a lot of you guys if I haven't met you already. All right, here we go. Ron, you're the best. Bought the last generation M3 per your reviews and love them. Thanks. What are your general views of the Bach SP? Everybody keeps talking about this Bach SP, and I know nothing about it. Like, I'm in the dark. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it. I need to remember to Google that later, and maybe one of you guys that are like, "Hey, Ron, we need to talk," email me, Ron at New Record. They'd be like, Bach SP, send me a link so I don't forget. And then I'll find out. I don't know what that is. I feel like you guys are just making up a bunch of words. Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. True voice of reason. Gajul is Swedish for Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas right back at you. True voice of reason. I had no idea. Now I feel like a moron. As per usual. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your thoughts. That's why I've gone back to CDs myself. Yeah, CDs for sure. For sure, CDs are the way to go. Aaron's Audio Corner. Oh my goodness. Hey, Aaron was in here. If you guys aren't subscribed to Aaron, check out Aaron's channel. I think he just recently got paid a bunch of money to say some nice things about the Point Source 8s. Classic Aaron, taking all that money from Andrew. How dare you? How dare you? I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're incredible. I have the point. That's another speaker that I need to review. I have the Point Source 10s, and so I gotta review those. So add that on the list. 18 items to review. Aaron is great. If you're not subscribed to Aaron's channel, definitely do so. I love the way that he talks about objective information, the way that he unpacks it. He's making everything up. Everything he says is just made up words. And I have written confirmation from him that that is true. He's like, I just make everything up. That's what he said. Actually, it's what I said, and then he confirmed it. But anyways, great guy. Definitely subscribe to Aaron's Audio Corner. He's awesome. He's great. Looking forward to the rest of the Soundshed videos. Me too, man. I'm super excited. Super, super excited. All right. We have Stay Brown. He says, I need help. I need help. I have the JBL 4309s, bad to the bone speaker, by the way. Yamaha AS2200, bad to the bone amplifier. Technics GR with Mod Right PH9. You have a great system. What is the problem here? When I use the Mod Right, I can't get the same volume as my Denafrips area DAC. Oh, Denafrips DAC. I lose ability to play music above 80 dB. Well, now that is interesting. Techniques with Mod Right PH9. You know, Martin, I wonder if Martin could help here. Oh, how funny. First question out of the gate. Martin is big into spin and vinyl. So he's like, at Stay Brown, the Mod Right has a few gain settings, right? So that's the first question that I have, and I'm familiar with the PH9. You do have some different gain settings on the PH9. Have you tried them all? Because I'm kind of surprised to hear that you can't get some body out of that. That's kind of crazy to hear that, man. So yeah, hmm. Let us know. Martin will help you, or I will help. We will figure this out. Glenn says, Ron, just wanted to thank you for all of the info I've learned from you. Been following several years, probably since you had a couple of thousand followers. Also, how can I get get an NRD patch? Glenn, email me, Ron at New Record Day, and I will get you a patch. No problem. We still have patches for sure. And thank you, humbly, with all my heart, thank you for following me from the very beginning. Man, it's been a wild ride, and the best is yet to come. That's awesome. Christian, great to hear your plans for 24. Looking to seeing more content regularly. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be killing it. Aaron's audio challenge Randy to an Arendelle MoFi shootout. Oh, that would be interesting. Man, that would be interesting. An Arendelle in a MoFi shootout. Now that would be fun. Huh. Yeah, that'd be cool. I wonder if Randy will do it. I hope so. Christian says, a while back I asked if you'd be crazy to move on from an EEL 84 tube integrator. You said it would, but I went and did it anyway. Picked up the Pathos Classic 1 Mark III. Love it. No regrets. That is awesome. Well, that's great, Christian. I'm glad that you've got something that you're happy with. That's great. That's phenomenal. Ian Rollo or Royo, I'm not sure. Audiophile Junkie has videos on Bach DSP, I believe. Okay, I gotta figure out what the heck the Bach DSP is. I don't know what it is. Benoit, thanks for your answers. Have a good night and 2023 end the year. See you soon. All the best to you and your siblings. Benoit, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I definitely appreciate it. We'll chat with you soon. Martin is asking at Stay Brown, which cartridge? Earlier, Stay Brown mentioned that he has some gain issues with the PH 9.0 into his system, and that's a little bit strange. So I was going to ask that as well, Martin. I'm curious what cartridge you have. Ads will run shortly for some viewers. Skip ads. I'm going to skip the ads. We're not going to make you guys watch it. Freaking. Yeah, no ads. All right, Stay Brown, let us know what cartridge you have because it sounds like Martin and I should be able to help you out with what's going on. Steven Scholar says, have you checked out the Black Ocean audio line of speakers? I heard the Le Chiffre, I'm not sure, with bass towers at Pacific Audio Fest this year. They ruled the show. Always a fan of your work. I have not. Black Ocean audio. Man, that sounds interesting. I'm going to have to Google that and see what the fuss is all about. And hopefully they're at the Dallas show because I'll be there and I'll see what I think. So, yeah. Hobbs Groove says you got to put out some requests out for donations for Ukraine. I said doing Congress working for Russian interest. You got to put some requests out for donations for Ukraine. I said doing Congress working for Russian interest. I try not to get too much into politics on the channel or mixed politics. I like people making up their own minds on that, but I appreciate the comment, man. That's really nice of you, and my heart goes out to what's going on there. But I don't know if I would ask people to do something specific like that. I think people should be free to make those kind of choices. But thank you for the comment. I definitely appreciate it. And yeah. What is the best speaker you have heard, regardless of regardless of the price? The best speaker that I've heard, regardless of its price. Regardless of its price, I was blown away, and I would need to revisit it now to see if I would feel the same. Is MLB has I think it's an omnidirectional type of a design. I forget the exact model. It's one of their flagships, one of their higher end. And I've heard it a few times. It was at the Newport show in a pretty nice room, and those speakers freaked me out. They were unbelievable, and I think they're like 100 grand. So I mean, we're in the absurd stratosphere of insanity, and those MLBs or MBL, maybe it's MBL, MLB, MBL. Someone will let me know. Those jacked me up. Absolutely, absolutely insane. Absolutely incredible. Um, the GR Research in Extreme with triple servo subs, which can be had like at a fraction of that price, not even close, 10 grand, 15 grand, I don't know, somewhere in there. Um, that system can do some incredible things if that is the sound that you're after. Incredible speed, incredible transients, incredible detail retrieval. It's like a roller coaster ride of excitement when it needs to be. I mean, it's unbelievably fast. Sarah says I got to finish up the video here, or I got to finish up the live chat. So that system is unreal at the realistic level of you know not getting into a complete system and just having a simple setup. The spatial audio sapphires blew my mind. It just and they're right there. And so this wasn't one of those videos that I posted that it was just great for a week and then I moved on. No, that same pair is right there. I'm looking at them. They will never go. If they do go away, I would give them to somebody that I care about. Maybe. I'd have to care about them a lot. They're so good. Uh, and it's funny. Just the other day, I got sick and tired of listening to just stuff in here. Just like cycling through, and I was getting used to speakers, and I was like, I'm done working. I put up the sapphires, and my final thoughts on the sapphires is still the way that I feel about them today, which is when I'm done working and I don't want to work anymore, and I really want to just enjoy music, I pull out the sapphires. So yeah, yeah. MBLs. Looks like people are correcting me there. So let me just take a look here. Waiting for your review on the Rogue Audio Cronus Dark. I just upgraded mine. I'm very interested in your opinion. Yeah, I got to reach out to Rogue Audio about that and see if I can make that happen. That'd be a lot of fun. For sure. Yeah, it'd be great. Martin says, Ron even lets us make up our own minds about audio. I do. Yeah. You make up your own minds. Buy whatever you want. It's I wonder if I should even talk about this. The Typhon review will be a challenging review for me, and here's why. Confirmed, so this isn't me making something up. It's confirmed that Jay was going after a particular sound with mid bass and bass. And that sound that he is after, or that he heard, that he likes, that he appreciates, involves bloom. Bloom, right? We talk about this every now and then. It's just like there's a bloom in this speaker. And in the Typhons, there is a bloom. There's definitely a bloom, and I keep hearing it, and it's not what I generally go for. And so when I get to that review and I unpack it, that's going to be an interesting video to do. That's going to be an interesting take of what did he do? Why did he do it? And what can you expect? Because at the end of the day, that's my job. It's not about making a review positive just to be positive or negative to be negative. That's not my job. My job is to explain how it sounds, what's going on. So if you decide to buy it, you're not surprised that, well, this guy said it was a unicorn. It was the greatest thing ever. It's like, that's a failure of a review, that you failed. You didn't do anybody any good. So, I do try to walk that line of this is how it sounds. This is what you can expect. And even if I have to get creative in my word choice, saying well farts or something like that, obviously a bit of a negative connotation there, but I'm trying to help illustrate like there's going to be some boominess to this, or there's going to be, and I'm not talking about the Typhons right now. I'm just giving this as a general example. But It's going to be interesting when I get to that video and I talk about that, because I think that will be one of those crossroads of, if you like this particular sound, if this is the type, then you will love them. Even though I'm going, that's not really the way that I go. Like, I go in a very tighter, cleaner, open baffle bass, no bloom, anti-bloom. They are the anti-bloom of loudspeakers. It's there and gone. It's super clean. And here we have the Typhon going boom and ooh, ooh. It's like, whoa, there's some bloom there. So that'll be fun to do that. It'll be interesting. Yeah. Let me take a look here. Love to hear your opinion on Magnapans. Yeah, Scott, I've dabbled with Magnapans in the past on the channel, and I really enjoyed them. We have a dipole situation there, and outside of, not being as dynamic is I like something that has like some balls when it comes to bass, like real dynamics and the ability to kind of move air. There's a lot of really amazing things that you can get out of a Maggie, and they're a lot of fun, man. They're a trip. They can be a mind melter for sure. There's no doubt about that. Do you have any plans to review the NX Studios in your sound shed? Yes, I do. I got to be careful again, just mentioning how much I filter in GR research stuff just because of my friendship with Danny. And so I try to be aware of, okay, it's been 5 videos. Can I drop a GR video, without everybody freaking out like, you're shill, and so, yeah, I would love to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. And the studios are great. And when Danny gets around to watching this, and I don't know if I've ever actually said this to him, he's going to hear it now. I like the NX Studios, but I love the Encores. So that's my opinion. And that's going to shock some people. Like, they'll be like, what? The NX Studios are way better than the Encores. And I would say that's great for you, but I'll take the Encores. And I'll have to explain why. There's very specific reasons as to why, and it's not even necessarily about the finite performance of the 2 speakers, because I can say that, but then also follow it up with, but there are things that those studios do that the Encores can't possibly do, which is a true statement. And so that's not me backpedaling. That's me saying that they're going to shine in some things that you might fall in love with and that you have to have. And I'm letting you know, I don't. I don't have to have those particular things. And with the Encores, there's something about the attitude of the Encore that is just humble that I love. It's like, you mean to tell me you can build those things for like 400 and something bucks, $500, $600, with cabinets, and they perform like that? Yeah. Yeah, they'll like kick the snot out of like half the speakers in this room, like in a quick hurry. You like beat them up pretty bad. And so there's that. Whoa. Hey, Natty, do you want to say hi to everybody? Here's Natalie. And here's Georgia. Mom said I have to finish up the live stream, so I got to get off. Are you guys going to go to the library and return some books? Okay. I should probably end the live stream. I know that, anyways, I've had a blast today. I want to stay on here a bit longer and spend some time with you, but they got to go to the library and return books. Harmonica? Let's not do harmonica right now. I don't know where it is, though. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you so much. It means the world to me that you guys jumped in here, and we'll chat with you guys soon. And 2024 is going to be epic. Make no mistake. There's no doubt about it. And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll see you guys in the new year. The lights are turning off.